This idea of reaping and sowing is actually God's math. That's what John Piper calls it. He says, let me talk to you about God's math. Piper explains, in God's mathematics, the best way to increase a sum is to subtract from it, as we see in verse 6. Most people operate on exactly the opposite principle, that they will have more if they give less. But this is problematic because this math leaves God out of the equation. When we consider our finances with God in mind, we should look at them differently. And God tells us if we sow bountifully, we will reap bountifully. See, that's God's math, and the truth is it's old math. I like old math. Because if you go to the Old Testament and you look at these kingdom economic promises, these verses around kingdom economics, you see God's old math from the very beginning. For instance, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 25 from the NIV says, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed. The generous, the open-handed, the one who waters, it says in the ESV, he who waters others will himself be watered. The person who gives generously, remember in the Hebrew, generosity has to do with the sense of an overwhelming flow that fills up and flows out onto others. He who overflows their life onto others will themselves experience that overflow. God's math has to do with giving, subtraction, so that he might replenish. It's the widow who takes care of Elijah. It doesn't make a bit of sense. But every time she went back, there it is. The oil is there over and over and over and over and over and over again. God's math, it's an old math.